Welcome to the Week 8 edition of the 757preps.com Bay Rivers District Football Pick Show. I'm Perez Thomas. I'm here with my buddy Jason Kidd, Mr. 3-2 Jason Kidd.
Oh, this your buddy now, man.
You know, I got my game up this week. You got me in the PD, so I had to get you in the Bay Rivers this week.
Man, it was all good a week ago. Last week I was co-founding. Now I'm just your buddy, man. I don't know what's going on with you, man.
Stop stealing my cheat sheet. Let's go ahead and move into the recap of the Week 7 games. We'll start out with the York and New Kent game, which was a blowout start to finish. York won that one 46-0.
Yeah, Norman and Anthony Honey both went over 100 yards. York piled up a little over 300 yards rushing in the game. It's pretty much what we expected, though. You know, the Falcons are hot.
That they are. The next game we'll move into was expected to be a pretty competitive game, but it may not show by the score. But Grafton really controlled the game against Warhill, defeating them 23-6 behind a stellar performance from Dylan Bartels.
Yeah, and they also had to break in a new quarterback. Robbie Heiser didn't play; he hurt his shoulder, and so Jet Johnson stepped up in his place, junior. Yeah, and he turned that Grafton offense's jets on because they looked good. They were impressive. Marcus Spearman had a long 58-yard touchdown run. Bartels had a 50-yard touchdown run. Had 187 yards on the ground. Spearman had a 97. Grafton looked good, and you know the thing about Grafton is they came out and they played with intensity for 48 minutes. And they showed what they're truly made of, how they can really step up and play.
Yeah, that they did. We'll move into the Lafayette Tabb game, which was another blowout. Lafayette firing all cylinders as they crushed the Tigers 58-17. Thomas Smith went berserk. What do you got to say about that?
I think a lot of people in Lafayette went berserk this past week. Yeah, Thomas Smith definitely did. He had 224 total yards of offense in the first half. Had an 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Another 68-yard touchdown catch. Will Capers rushed for 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're rolling. They're moving on all cylinders, heading into the showdown with York next week.
Yeah, it looks like they're moving in the right direction towards the top of that state poll, as I believe they're all the way up to number 5 in this week's AP poll. And like you said about York actually has snuck in. I believe they're at number 10 in the state poll this week. For the next game, we'll go ahead and look at the Bruton Jamestown game with Bruton winning 26-6. Looks like they're heading in the right direction right now with the offense starting to finally put some points on the board, and you know the defense has always been there. It's just the fact that they've kind of they were on the field too much the couple games, but in the last 2-3 weeks they've looked like a team to force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they definitely looked good last week. In the win, Darius Ovis, he had a monster performance. He's our player of the week in the Bay Rivers this week. He had 2 interceptions. He caught 5 passes for, I believe, 106 yards, including a 64-yard pass to set them up for their first touchdown. Bruton is playing really well. Capri Doucette is playing good in the secondary. Scott Frazier stepped in at quarterback for Bill Wallace, and he's starting to play well over the past couple weeks.
That he has. And we'll move into the last game of the week. A little bit of a blowout, I would say. Probably bigger than I'd expect, but it looks like Poquoson finally started to hold on to that football as they crushed Smithfield 51-19.
Yeah, Poquoson ran the ball as they usually do. Smithfield didn't have anyone to stop them, and they bowled right over them.
Yeah, I've said it all year. If Poquoson can hold on to the football, they're a tough out. The key is they have to, make sure they don't turn the ball over, because once Poquoson gets behind, they don't have the type of offense to where they're going to bring it back.
Right.
They have to play either, a touchdown back, or they have to have a lead, because that running game is tough, but they can't throw the ball that well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll go ahead and move into the Week 8 games, and we'll start off with Grafton versus Tabb. That one's Friday night at Bailey Field, 7 o'clock. What do you feel about this one?
I look for Grafton to continue playing inspired football with a lot of intensity. They already have 2 losses this year. They were picked to finish first or second in the Bay Rivers, and they feel like they may have been underachieving in their 2 losses. But I see them winning big, 45-14.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on this one. I think Grafton wins this one 35-0. I think they contain Andrew Junio of Tabb. If you can stop Junio, I think you pretty much stop Tabb's offense, and I think they have the defense to do just that. If not shut him down, but contain him to the point, where they're not going to score much. I think Bartels continues running the ball well. I think Spearman's starting to get a little more involved in that offense, and I've said it all year. If they can get him more involved in the offense, they are a tough out. That's when they start just lining up and running it every single time, being predictable, is when they get caught up. Not sure if Heiser will be back this week. If so, it could be even worse than 35-0. The next game I'm going to go ahead and move into will be Jamestown versus Lafayette, and that one's Friday night at Cooley Field. What do you think? Them Rams and Thomas Smith and the boys going to do it again, or what?
Well, I believe they win this one, but it's going to be closer than anticipated. I see Lafayette taking home a 38-20 win. And I like Ronnie Taylor to step up on the offensive side of the ball this week and have a big game for the Rams.
Yeah, I see Lafayette winning this one. A little bit bigger of a spread than you. I'm going 35-14. I think Jamestown might keep it close the first half, but I think in the end, Lafayette wears them down with Capers and Taylor, and then, Thomas Smith is always a threat on the outside. The defense has been playing well. I just think they're too much for Jamestown.
It's a good matchup in the secondary wide receiver position with Thomas Smith and Rodney Smith from Jamestown, wide receiver.
Smiths go head-to-head this week.
That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Definitely. Now we move into another Friday night game between the New Kent Trojans, and they're heading all the way down to Poquoson. And nobody likes to go play in Poquoson because they don't lose there often. And I don't see that changing this week. How about yourself?
I don't either. New Kent does not possess a defense that forces a lot of turnovers. And I see Poquoson running over them 35-13.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I went 35-14. I guess they'll make the extra point in my score. But I think William Emini or Amini, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correct, Dylan Hill, I think that they're just too much. As long as they hold on to the ball, they win. If they drop the ball, this game could be a little more interesting than expected, but I think the defense from Poquoson has stepped up here of late. And like I said, I think the two-headed monster of Hill and Amini, I think there'll be too much for New Kent. Next game here is Warhill headed out to Smithfield. Nice little bus ride there. That's got to be at least a good hour and 15 minutes. Well, maybe even longer on the bus. What do you think about that one?
Well, I like Warhill 20-10 in this one.
I bet you do.
They're without the services of their quarterback Scott Thompson in the loss against Grafton, and he's expected to be back this week. They held Devontae Dimon out of the second half against Grafton. He was experiencing some shoulder issues, and he's expected to be back in this one. But I see Smithfield, they haven't yet to win this year, but I see them fighting hard.
One W.
Well, I apologize, but I see them fighting hard, making this a close game.
Yeah. As I said earlier, somebody was stealing my cheat sheet. I'm going Warhill 20-10.
Are you serious? Would you look at my paper?
Oh, here you go. You're lucky I let you pick first on this one. But
I looked on his paper. That's what I did. I think that sounded like a good score. So, yeah, I cheated off you, Pete.
It's alright. I know I'm the Bay Rivers champion right now. But I'm going Warhill 20-10. I think Although Warhill, to me, is a much more, not necessarily much more talented, but they're a more talented team. I think their offense still struggles to put points on the board here or there. They don't really, post up 30, 40-point games. I still think their defense is strong, although they were a bit exposed last week. I think this game does hinge a lot on whether or not, or how much Dedmon plays. Also look to see what Lipscomb does this week after he had a nice little week. What was it, 100 yards rushing and a TD? 102. And, they get the quarterback coming back, and I think they really need this W to solidify their playoff spot. So I see Warhill pulling it out 20-10. And then that brings us into the recently rescheduled game of the week. I believe it was scheduled for Saturday at 7, but it's been moved up to Thursday night at 7 at Bailey Field between the Bruton Panthers, who have been rolling here of late, and the firing on all cylinders, high octane offense of the York Falcons.
Yes, I like York in this one. Although they are coming into this game losers of 3 straight against Bruton. I think this year they take the dub and end that streak. What more can you say about their offense? They're very prolific. They're very balanced. They can hit you with the run, hit you with the pass. They convert on third down. They're hard to stop, and I think they'll overmatch the Bruton Panthers this week. I like York 31-13, setting up an 8-0 record for their showdown Lafayette, who should be 8-0 as well, both ranked in the top 10 in AA AP, the state of Virginia football. I like the Falcons to fly high.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one as well. I think York just has too many weapons on offense. Bruton's defense is tough. I don't see how you can slow down an offense with, they've got Honey, they got the big guy, Logan Bowder, they've got Johnston, the quarterback.
Yeah, Tywan Lewis, Jake Nolan.
I mean, they've just got so many weapons. It's hard to focus on one because they can expose you with another.
And they also get 2 starting offensive linemen back this week, Johnny Cruz and Daquan Parker.
Oh, so, they're going to be 100%. I'm going York 35-20. Bruton has been putting up a little more points of late, so that's why I say the 20 points. If they can slow the game down and kind of keep that York offense off the field, this could be a close game. But all in all, I think York is too much. I think, like he said, they set up a nice matchup with Lafayette next week, 8-0 versus 8-0. Not just playoff implications, state championship implications for both teams. Because, I tell you what, both teams look very hard to beat right now with Lafayette and York. Both of them have prolific offenses. The defenses have certainly stepped up. I think that's going to be a showdown next week. But as far as this week, I'm going York 35-20. And that's going to pretty much wrap up the show. Got anything to add for today?
Hey, it's going to be a good week in Bay Rivers football.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to that Thursday night matchup between York and Bruton. I think, York is very tough, but I think Bruton's defense, if they want to make a statement, this would be the game to do it. But they haven't fared well at Bailey this year.
Yeah.
But that wraps up the show for this week. As usual, this is Perez Thomas, my buddy Jason Kidd right here. 4-1 to your 3-2 last week. But it's only one game, what can I say? Be sure to check us out at the website, www.757preps.com. Plenty of scores, stories, pictures, video, polls, highlights, you name it. You can also check out our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/757preps. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/757preps. And, of course, you can always check out updated scores, random tidbits and stuff like that on our Twitter at 757preps. That'll wrap it up for this week. We'll see you on Friday night.